Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing on with this page from Rita Berman's brand new book, My Journey Through Asia. I'm not going to try saying it in German because it probably wouldn't sound correct, but anyway, today I'm going to be using my Prismacolor pencils. I've decided to do different mediums for each of these little colors. So I printed this page on the Daler-Rowney paper. It's a smooth cartridge paper, but it's got just enough tooth that it's great to use with colored pencils. So let's get started. So as you can see, I'm going to work on this little lantern scene today. I want to make these lanterns really glow and stand out, so I'm going to do a dark nighttime background in dark blue tones, and I want the center lantern to be in sort of red orangey tones. I'm thinking to do the left lantern in a blue tone and then the right lantern in a green tone. So what you might be noticing now, if you were following my previous video, is that these Prismacolors are laying down more pigment on the paper compared to the Polychromos. So that means I can probably get away with less layering and I'll still get a really bright result. However, I do I do enjoy the layering, so I'm finding this a way of colouring quite challenging because I am usually a Polychromos girl by heart and I don't really use my Prismacolors all that often, but I thought it'd probably be a good time to get them out, and we'll do lots of comparisons on this page. So you'll see how the Prismacolors is definitely a faster medium compared to the Polychromos pencils. They're laying down faster and I can sort of I'll get the bright colours much quicker than what I do with the Polychromos, but at the same time I'm sort of finding that I don't have as much control over how many different colours I can add in with the layers and everything. I'm kind of a little bit sort of stuck to the amount of layers I can put down, so that will probably affect a bit of the depth of what I can achieve with this one. And obviously, as I mentioned, I'm not as confident with the Prismacolors as I am with the Polychromos, so this will definitely look differently to the first little picture that we did on the side there, but I'm still really excited to see how this will all turn out. So if you have any other ideas of which kind of mediums you want me to use on the next few pictures on this page, please let me know in the comments below, because I'd really love to be able to do the kind of things that you want me to do as well, if I have the medium at hand. So I'm thinking maybe some ink tents with one of them. I do also have the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils by Faber-Castell. I only have a small set of those, but I think that should be fine. And I have regular watercolors, and I'm trying to think what else have I got. I got some pastels, some soft pastels, but that will probably be slightly hard to do with this because the pictures are quite small. So please let me know what you think and if there's any requests that you have, and I will try to get that done for you guys. Being that I'm doing a dark blue background as well, I'm gonna have to be careful when it comes to this particular lantern that it doesn't blend in too well with the background. So I'm thinking I'll probably be pulling out my white Prismacolor a fair bit today, and to do, especially when I do some blending on the back, the sort of the sky, I might be using that white one just on the outside of this lantern, just to sort of make it look like it's glowing a little bit in the back. So just to make sure you can actually see the outline of it. But I'm going to try to use sort of different blue tones for the sky as well, just so it's kind of looks a little bit different. I'm trying to use some really sort of bright blue tones here, at least around the edges, that sort of stand out a little bit. If you are enjoying this video, I'd love it if you'd consider hitting the like button. It really does help the channel grow and bring these videos out to a wider audience. And if you'd like to, put a comment down, that would be fantastic too. Any interaction on these videos will help push them out. And if you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell as well, so you'll get notified whenever I post new content. So for these little, well, I think they're leaves, so I haven't quite decided whether they're leaves or flowers, but I'm going to just treat them as leaves, and I'm just going to do them in the dark green and the Chartreuse colour, and I might bring in a mid-tone as well. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I want that sort of really yellowy, sort of light green, fresh green, so it looks like the light from the lantern is sort of lighting up these leaves in the background, and they're sort of glowing a little bit. So with this tree branch here, I'm going to go in darker and just have the darker areas sort of on the top and then on the sort of same side going down, so that will be on the right hand side, just because those lanterns will have the light and that light source will then hit underneath and on the left hand side of that trunk. So I'm going to go in and use my white Prismacolor pencil and just sort of blend the areas that I want a little bit lighter. So when you use the white to blend with, you will notice that you're definitely lightening up everything. So if you don't want to lighten up whatever you're blending, don't use the white. Use a blender pencil or something else, and which I will do later on when I use, I'm going to use a blender pencil on the sky, I think, because the dark areas of that I want to really nice and dark. But at the moment I've used the white, and now I can really darken up the sort of shaded area of this branch and give that really nice contrast. So for the background, I'm doing a really dark night sky, and I want the top part to be really dark, so I'm actually going in with a layer of black first, and then we're going to go in with our sort of indigo blue on top of that, and probably use maybe slightly lighter colors down the bottom, but we'll see. The top here, I'm definitely going in really dark straight away. So I'm going to add a little bit of light coming out underneath these lanterns as well, and then I'm going to blend that in to the blue areas underneath. So I'm going to go back in now up the top with my Indanthrone blue, and I'm going to push down a little bit harder. I'm still not completely burnishing here, but I am pushing down a little bit harder than what I've done, and I'm really sort of darkening up these areas. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of powder blue just over the top where these lanterns are, especially the blue one. And I'm probably going to add in white as well, as I mentioned, but I'll just start out with this powder blue first, it will still lighten it up, but it's not as light as if I went straight in with the white. I'm really liking this blue violet lake, so I'm using a lot of that down the bottom here where I don't want the sky as dark as up the top, and I'm using this now to kind of blend things out a little bit, especially sort of the darker areas here. I'm pushing down just like I did with the Indanthrone blue up the top there. I'm pushing down a little bit harder. I'm not completely burnishing the paper, but I'm not too far off either. for these little hills down the bottom, I'm going to be using the same sort of color combination as I did for the leaves up the top, sort of tie it all together. And I'm doing the lighter areas sort of on the top and down the center of each of these little hills, and then I'll probably go in and darken up with maybe one of the grey tones afterwards, just where I want a little bit of shadow, just to create some more depth. I'm going to go in with a little bit of this China blue, and I'm going to do this just right down the bottom of the sky, right where the hills start as well. Now I'm going to get my blender pencil out. This is a Derwent blender pencil, and I'm just going to use this to try to get rid of most of that white area that's still shining through from the paper. Now you can do this, I know Prismacolor has got one as well that you can use, as well as the Caran d'Ache is meant to be really good, the colorless blender there. But this happens to be the one I have, so that's the one I'm going to be using. for these little flowers, I want them fairly delicate. They are very small, so I'm going to do, I think, alternating them in like a base cream tone here, and then I'll probably add in some of those yellowy and orangey tones that we used for that center lantern. And then I'm thinking for the other ones I might go in with some red pinkish sort of colors, so almost a little bit like cherry blossoms, but obviously these are they're simple flowers. They don't go into individual petals really, so I'm just gonna be trying to get in a little bit of depth there, but I'm not gonna go too crazy. last thing I'm going to do now, I think, is bring in my Sakura jelly roll, and I'm going to add some white details around. So first thing I'm going to do is add just a lot of white around the sort of edges of these leaves, and those little fan lines that are in there, I'm going to go over those just sort of roughly. I'm not, as you can see, I'm not going down each individual one and completely covering it. I'm just sort of dragging some lines down and just making it a little bit of a, yeah, like a fan pattern that goes in there, just for some little bit of highlights. Of course, if you don't have the jelly roll pens, you can use a Posca pen. Any kind of white fine tipped paint marker will be fine for this. However, just bear in mind that when you are using things like the jelly rolls or Posca markers, they aren't archival, which means that they will fade and probably yellow with time. If you need something that's archival, you're gonna need to use different. There are some like titanium white sort of fluid, sort of paint fluid things that you can use, that would be fine. I think probably things like acrylic paint will probably be fine as well. So just if you wanted to stay really bright, you're not going to use something other than the Poscas and the Sakuras, because they're fine in books. If you're putting your picture up on the wall, that's not going to last. So just giving you a heads up on that. And as soon as I've added enough little dots to the background here, then we are going to be finished. So I hope you've enjoyed following along with me today. If you did, I'd love it if you consider giving the video a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment under the video, and if you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe. I wish you all a colourful day, and I can't wait to see you again next time.